be the opening kickoff of the contest.
And welcome once again from Edmonds Stadium here in Edmonds, Washington. No, it wasn't a minute ago. Test 1, 2, nope. I hear nothing.
Picked up the headset on channel 2.
You did?
You did.
I didn't do anything.
No, this headset is channel 2.
Oh.
You're usually channel 1.
So, oh, no.
That, you
You didn't tell me that. You had that one all ready to go. It was on you, not me.
They're both ready to go. They're both ready to go. Down one after another.
There we go, and now we are here. Welcome to Edmonds Stadium. You never know what you're going to get with us here on HBN, but we are finally here and ready to go. Angelo Como and the crew. Shorewood versus Lynwood. Game number 2 of the season. We'll get you lineups here momentarily as we're trying to get everything squared away, and that's what happens also when you're play-by-play announcer is also your statistician. So Eduardo Elagio with a carry just a moment ago for 5 yards. Second play of the game coming up here right now. This time Elagio with a 6-yard gain, enough for a first down, and Shorewood 2 plays in, moving the chains for the first time today. My name is Steve Willits, along with Angelo Como and our trusty crew here. We are bringing you Wesco football on a glorious day here. Beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. And if it works the first 2 times, why not do it again? Right back up the middle. Elagio with 1 more carry. We're going to give him 8 yards on this particular play. Anthony Hooker on the tackle. And, of course, play-by-play announcer's worst nightmare. White uniforms on white numbers, so we'll be having a tricky time here trying to get some of these as we go along. But nonetheless, we'll be relying on Paul Keene quite a bit, our public address announcer, who's also there. So, again, if you're just tuning in, Shorewood 3 plays into the game, 3 dives right up the middle. Picked up 19 yards thus far. They've moved the chains once. They're going to move the chains twice. Dive right there is Elagio is going to pick up another, we'll call that 4 yards on the play. 23 carries for Elagio so far here. Drive that started on their own 25-yard line. And Keontae Bankhead, the head coach for Lynwood, says, I've seen enough here. 4 straight plays. We haven't been able to stop him yet. 5-yard gain, 6-yard gain, 8-yard gain, and then a 4-yard gain on a short second and short. So we'll go ahead and, as we're going here, we'll try to get you caught up on some things. Again, 5 o'clock football here, always a good time. As you're seeing right now, the Lynwood Royals wearing the home black uniforms today, white pants. Shorewood all white uniforms, numbers, pants, blue helmet. Mount Lake Terrace, or Lynwood, your starting defense tonight. Your linebackers are number 52, Caden Carroll. Middle linebacker is number 51, Jonathan Lucio. Your right linebacker is number 21, Paul Holman. Your starting four on the defensive line, your left end, number 54, Gavin Kincaid. Your left tackle, and is number 71, Miles Golston. Your right tackle is number 56, Christopher Calfee. And your right end is number 35, Anthony Hooker. We'll get to the secondary here in just a moment. Shorewood looking for their fifth play of this possession. All runs thus far. And this time they're going to try to change direction. Lynwood not fooled. They snuffed that one out very quickly. Solano, number 44 with the carry. He's going to get wrapped up in the backfield, loses 2 yards on the play. And to give you the rest of the lineup here for Lynwood, your secondary, your left corner is number 15, Jordan Whittle. Right corner, number 4, Ethan Pook. Strong safety is number 7, Sean Monin. And your free safety, number 10, Miguel Hurtado. Shorewood once again under center. In motion, they're going to dive one more time. Not having it. Lynwood there to stack him up at the line. Might have fallen forward for 1, maybe even a yard and a half, but not much more than that. And Anthony Hooker comes crashing down off of his position, makes the stop there. Number 51 also in on that play. That's Jonathan Lucio. We call it a gain of 1 on the play. 3rd and 11 coming up. We've yet to see Shorewood throw a pass here. The Lynwood coaches right now yelling at their players, watch the screen, watch the screen. Shorewood starting offense, by the way. Your quarterback is number 4, Santre Jorkane. He's a 5'11" junior. Now Shorewood wants a timeout, so we'll keep it right here and get you the lineup. Jorkane is your quarterback. We've already mentioned Eduardo Elagio, number 34. He's the tailback. You're going to see a lot of him tonight. He's 5'5", 195-pound sophomore. Alberto Solano also receiving a carry thus far. He had one just a moment ago. Listed as a running back. He's 5'7", 175 pounds, also a sophomore. Your receivers, number 12, Jackson Cho, and number 15, Rory Swanson. Your tight end is number 8, Daniel Kellyan. And then your starting offensive line, your center is Tyson McGill. He's number 62. The left side of the line, your left guard, number 66, Gary Bentoncourt. Your left tackle, number 56, Riley Ordona. Your right guard is number 54, Omar Ekatib. And your right tackle is number 70, Max Knoll. That is your starting lineup for both of the units that are on the field thus far. 8:37 showing on the clock. We're just a little more than 3.5 minutes into this game. And already each team burning one of their timeouts. Shorewood opening drive. Nothing but runs thus far. We've seen 6 different handoffs, 6 different snaps. Jorkane might be forced to throw here. Let's see what happens. Both teams looking for their first victory of the year. Both teams looking for their first points of the year. They were each shut out last week. Jorkane scrambles, throws it out into the flat, incomplete. Overshot the intended receiver. Was trying to get it to Solano, and that was dangerous there as Paul Holman, number 21, lurking in the area. And if that ball had traveled just a couple more yards, Holman might have been running the other way with it there, as Shorewood will send out their punt team for the first time today. A little bit of a snap to the right there. Nice job with a kick. It should get a nice bounce, and it does. Fielded cleanly by Jordan Whittle. It's going to take you right around the 16-yard line. Finds some space along the right side. Finds the sideline. Tries to cut it back, and then goes back out again. Still running, and finally taken out at the 41-yard line into Shorewood territory. Jordan Whittle with a return of 44 yards on that punt return. Isaac Van Horn, the kicker, making the tackle on the play, the sophomore. Whittle puts his team in very nice position here with 8:14 to go on the clock. Lynwood looking for their first points of the season right now, and not in a bad place to do it right there. They officially mark it at the 41-yard line. Handoff right up the middle. That was number 35, Anthony Hooker. Expect to see quite a bit of him today. He's going to get forward for 2 yards. Starting offense for Lynwood, your quarterback, Julius Hudorf. 5'11", 160-pound junior, making his second start of the season. Takes this one. Pitches it out to Hooker. Hooker looking out for some space along the left side. Not going to find too much. Got a little bit beyond the line of scrimmage. We'll call it a gain of 1. Jack Deneen making the tackle, number 32, senior defensive end. Your skill position players for Lynwood, your starting lineup, number 8, Tanner Fahey. He was an all-Wesco wide receiver last year. Coming out to the right side right now. Lining up with him out there, your slot receiver, who's actually playing to the outside right now, number 10, Miguel Hurtado. Going to hear that name a lot. He handles the punting duties as well as plays defense. Out into the flat, Fahey catches it above his head, tries to stiff arm the tackler, does so, gets down the field. We get a penalty marker down at the 36-yard line. You can see who they're going to call that on here as Fahey stiff-armed the defender. We're not sure if he was face masked or if perhaps he had the face mask on his hand. So let's see what they call here. And they're going to call a face mask on the defense. So Tanner Fahey getting all the way ahead to the 32-yard line. He would have been 1 yard short of the first down, but with the 15-yard penalty tacked onto the end of that. And actually, it's going to be a 5 yard, so they're going to call it an incidental. The lesser of the two, if you will. So we'll give Fahey a 7-yard gain there, an extra 5 yards on the penalty. Your officials for today's game, your head official, your referee is Steve Reed. Your umpire, Brett Whipple. Linesman judge, Hunter White. Your line judge, John Devaney. And your back judge is Keith Smith. And these gentlemen will be working each and every game here tonight. They're doing the doubleheader, getting that extra paycheck and certainly getting a workout in the process. So we commend them for that as Hudorf in shotgun formation. Whittle goes in motion, high snap. Hands it off to Whittle, sweeping around the left side, gets a nice block. He's still going into the 15-yard line, down around the 12 or 13, where he's finally brought out of bounds after a gain of 15 yards. Rory Swanson making the tackle there. Your starting lineup for Lynwood here on offense. We already mentioned Tanner Fahey. We've mentioned Miguel Hurtado. Anthony Hooker is your halfback. Gavin Kincaid, number 54, is your fullback. Sean Monin also listed as a starting wide receiver. He wears the number 7. And then we'll get you the O-line here momentarily as Hudorf. Shotgun formation. Handoff right up the middle. Not finding much room to run there. I think that was Hooker. We'll clear that up before we... Yep, in fact, that was Hooker. Might have picked up a yard on the play. His third carry already. He's picked up 4 yards thus far. Starting offensive line for Lynwood today. Your left tackle is number 60, Isaac Hernandez. Starting left guard, number 71, Miles Golston. Your starting center is number 62, David Livingston. Your right guard, number 77, Caden Entipe. Your right tackle is number 56, Christopher Calfee. Lynwood threatening, no score here, just about halfway through the first quarter. Hudorf, shotgun formation. Fakes the handoff, looks to pass into the end zone for Monin. Incomplete. Had it in his hand momentarily. Landed on his back, and the ball popped out. Give a lot of credit to Jackson Chow, number 12, the defender, the junior. Monin doing an outstanding job of going over the top of Chow. Just couldn't quite complete the transaction there at the end, as when he came down onto the turf, ball pops out, you got to hold on to it, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and long. Lynwood looking for their first points of the year. 3rd and 9, Shorewood 11-yard line. Monin on the right. Fahey on the left. Hudorf scrambling out, getting chased down, swung down, and there he goes. Not sure if that was a planned run or not, or if he was going to run out there with a little bit of an option to pass, but not being fooled is the Shorewood defense. Zach Herndon making the tackle. And it looks as though they're going to keep their offense on the field here. I'm going to call that a loss of 3 on the play. Got to get to the 2-yard line for a first down. There's 5:05 left on the clock. Flag is thrown, and as soon as that flag went up, as soon as Steve Reed threw the flag, Keontae Bankhead tried to call timeout, so let's see if they're going to call a delay of game. Referees are conferring here for just one moment. Your starting defense for Shorewood, we can get you that while we're waiting here. Your defensive line, your defensive tackle is number 66, Gary Bentoncourt. Your nose tackle, number 62, Tyson McGill. Your right defensive end, number 32, Jack Donnan. Your defensive end, number 6, Zach Herndon. He's the one that made the tackle there just a moment ago. Your linebackers, number 22, Jack Lariche. He's your middle linebacker. Your outside linebackers, number 34, Edward Alagio. Also number 15, Rory Swanson. Your starting safety is Ramatullah Salam. He's number 3. Number 18, Lake Mueller is one of your cornerbacks. And then your other one, as we've already mentioned, number 12, Jackson Cho. There's your starting lineup for all 4 units. We got those in during the first quarter. We like that. So here we go. 5-yard penalty there. Lynwood pushed back to the 19-yard line. Again, it's not 4th and goal. They can get a first down right around the 2-yard line. See what they dial up here. Hudorf looking to pass, scrambling, getting hit from behind. No, the defenders collide with each other. Hudorf's still running, and he's finally taken down inside the 10-yard line. But again, 4th down, and that will turn the ball over to Shorewood. Hudorf picking up 9 yards on a run. Again, 9 yards not enough, though, and that will give the ball back over to Shorewood. It's an 8-play drive, rather. Again, this is that brief pause where the play-by-play announcer becomes the statistician and writes down in his stat sheets here. So here we go. Shorewood with their second possession of the game. Just a little more than 7 minutes in. Both teams with 1 possession. Both teams with multiple first downs and then having to turn the ball back over. And now Shorewood pinned deep on this particular possession. Alagio is going to carry that one more time. I'm going to give him a gain of 1 on the play. 6 carries, 25 yards so far for Alagio. In Wesco 3A action here. Locally, South Snohomish County, North Shoreline County, or Shoreline School District, rather. North King County. There we go. That sounds a little bit better. 2 teams that know each other is what we're trying to say there. Pass, ball was batted, or at least his hand was batted, still comes down into the hands of a Thunderbird. Not sure who caught that one. We'll find out here in just a moment. .32, Jack Donnan coming down with the catch. Again, that was an intended play to Donnan. The ball was hit out of Jorgen's hand, or at least his arm was hit as it went into motion, popped up into the air. Unfortunately for Shorewood, one of the guys wearing a white uniform was there instead of the guy with the black uniform, and they ended up picking up a little bit of yardage on that play. And now they're actually going to call a penalty here. I didn't see what the penalty was. Whatever it was, it's going to give them a first down on the play. They're going to call an illegal use of hands against the defense. Again, Jorgen getting a completion on the play, and that one's almost picked up, and then is picked off. Lynwood with the ball. Lynwood into the end zone. Touchdown, Royals. Ethan Pook. Ball was thrown into the flat, bounced around off of another Royal player's hand, I believe, right into the breadbasket of Pook. Gets down the field, and Lynwood, for the first time in 2021, is on the board. Clock showing 3:45 left. Lynwood celebrating. Point after kick attempt. It's up. And somehow it's good. I don't know how that happened. I think everybody pulled up a little bit there. Udorf with the kick. The point is good. Lynwood up 7-0. You're watching HBN. And welcome back once again to Edmonds Stadium. Lynwood on the board for the first time this year, thanks to an Ethan Pook interception return for a touchdown, and that was dangerous there as well. Shorewood, who just turned the ball over to Lynwood a moment ago, giving them the easy score, almost gave it right back to them there on the pooch kick. So Shorewood with their third possession of the game, actually with their best starting field position. They've started at their own 25, their own 9. The first possession ended in a punt after 7 plays. The last possession was an interception for a touchdown, our first pick 6 of the year here at Edmonds Stadium. And now Shorewood will go at it once again, this time at their own 34-yard line. If you're just tuning in, this is game number 2 for each of these teams this year. Both, hate to bring it up, both were shut out last week. Lynwood right here, 23-0 against Shorecrest. It's a game that was 3-0 with about 8 minutes to go in the game. Shorewood over at Shoreline Stadium losing to Meadowdale 28-0. And we're going to get a whistle here. Lynwood coaches up here in the booth yelling delay of game, and they are in fact correct. So that is what you do not want to see if you are an offensive coordinator, if you are member of the coaching staff, the team, a delay of game coming off of a kickoff return. Really no excuse for that one, and to put yourself in an additional hole of 5 yards there, always a little bit more challenging than what you had to work with to begin with. So we'll see if Shorewood is able to dig themselves out of this one. Backwards pass out into the flat. Counting it up and finding not much, maybe a yard, perhaps 2 yards. Alberto Solano with the catch. technically, that was a running play, a backwards pass there. We'll give Solano 2 yards rushing there. Again, backwards pass. If the ball's dropped, it's a live ball. Anybody can pick it up. Trying to give Solano a little more room to run, a little momentum. Lynwood right there to stuff it out. Second and 13 coming up. Another toss here, left side this time, finding some space and more. Down to the 41-yard line. There is a flag down around the 31, so we'll see if this one's coming back as Elagio picking up 6 yards on the play, if this in fact stands. Actually, take that back, picking up 10 yards on the play. It's usually in the vicinity where you're going to get some sort of a hold call against the offense. You hear a lot of excitement. We got assistant coach David Harris right next to us here in the window, and David providing a lot of entertainment here. He's cheering on his team as he's coaching. We're helping the referees out from his window spot up here as well. And they are in fact going to call it an illegal block, so this one's going to come back. Oh, they're going to call. They're going to call a chop block on the defense. Coaching staff not happy about that at all, as everybody is up in arms. They thought they were going to have that ball coming back. So not only does Elagio get his 10-yard run, they're also going to get a little yardage on top of it. Elagio, 7 carries for 35 yards here in the first quarter. And it must be a spot foul there. They marked it off 11 yards ahead of where he was tackled. So obviously a 15-yard penalty from where it was actually taken down. So we're going to have Shorewood ball for the first time today on the Lynwood side of the field. Scrambling, throwing deep down the sideline. Incomplete, and the flag goes up, and I think that's the right call. Jorghang looking down the field. Pass was intended for Swanson. And again, it's very challenging up here. We're looking across the field. We got the sun coming right down on us right now. Farthest away from the field as you could be on those white uniforms and white numbers. But Swanson was the intended receiver on the play. And it looked as though the defender, which I believe was Whittle, it was Whittle. Whittle just did not get quite turned around in time as he had lost sight of where the ball was and ran over the intended receiver, Swanson, and that's going to be an automatic 15-yard penalty. So for the second time in 3 possessions, Shorewood on the move again. Furthest they've been down the field so far today, the 33-yard line of Lynwood. First down coming up. Santre Jorghang, your quarterback. Moving things around here a little bit. We're going to see a trips right possession, and now we're going to have Shorewood calling another timeout. Timeout number 2 already with 2:35 to go here in the first quarter. We'll take a momentary break. We'll be right back. You're watching Hawk TV on HBN. Here we go once again. Shorewood throwing the ball out to the right. We do have a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. Working his way and straddling that line down the sideline there was number 44, Alberto Solano. And with Shorewood walking back the way they are, we can assume that this one will be called against the offense. A lot of first quarter laundry here. Some of it had been going against Lynwood up until that point. Certainly during this drive, Lynwood being called for a pass interference as well as a illegal chop block on the defensive side. And that one's a big one there. Shorewood being pushed back 10 yards, so it's going to be 1st and 20 as they will replay the down. There's a holding call. 1st down, right around the 23-yard line. The pitch. Running out to the right side. And a handful of Royals tacklers making the contact there. I believe that is Elagio on the carry. Lucio on the tackle. Going to give him 1 yard on the play. So what's interesting, the two main ball carriers for Shorewood, 34 and 44. It's the white on white. So every time we see them starting to take off running, it's always a matter of trying to figure out if it's Elagio or if it's Solano. So far, Elagio with 8 carries on the day for 36 yards, unofficially. And we're going to get a pass this time. Jorgen floating it down the sideline there. Incomplete and almost picked off. Hurtado had that one in his hands momentarily. Is Jorgen throwing that one into coverage. Dangerous pass there. It's going to set up a 3rd and long. Again, unofficially right now, Jorgen at 3 passes, no completions. Official scoring might have it differently. There was one play earlier where he threw a screen pass out to Solano that was backwards, so we gave him a running play on that one. And now we're looking at a 3rd and 19 coming up here. 42-yard line. Swanson in motion. Jorgen looking to throw, looking to scramble right down the middle of the field. Cuts it back over to the side and is taken down at the 38-yard line. Nice open field tackle there by the Royals, number 21, Paul Holman. Did a nice job of staying at home, contained Jorgen, did not let him get past him. Going to give him 4 on the play. And that will bring up a 4th and long coming up here. Scoreboard showing 4th and 15, 38-yard line. Kind of in that no man's land area. It doesn't really help you much to punt here, unless you want to play a little field possession game. We're showing 38 seconds left on the clock, 1st quarter. Quick snap. I think we got a little motion there. I'm not sure that the quarterback and the center were on the same page on that one. And they're actually going to say a timeout was called. So Lynwood calls a timeout. So both teams using 2 timeouts here in the 1st quarter. 35 seconds to go in the period. Royal 7, Shorewood 0. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll see what Shorewood elects to do here on 4th down. You're watching Hawks TV, HBN. Here we go, 4th and 15 for Shorewood at the Lynwood 38-yard line. If you're just tuning in, Lynwood 7, Shorewood 0. thanks to an Ethan Pook 15-yard interception return for a touchdown here in the first quarter. Pass across the middle. Intercepted once again. There's the linebacker. Still running. Penalty flag is down. Gets past midfield and out of bounds. Jonathan Lucio, number 51. 5'10", 230-pound junior linebacker. Johnny on the spot picked it off and even returned it 15-plus yards on the play. Flag is down at the 40-yard line. It was on the return, so regardless, it should be Lynwood football. Now it's just a matter of where we're going to spot it, if the ball's going to come back, if there was any kind of a hold or perhaps a illegal use of hands on the play. And they are going to call it against the return team again. Lynwood football. It stays with the Royals, but they're going to get the ball moved back from where the illegal block in the back took place, which it looks like it's right at the 40-yard line. So good news, bad news for the Royals. Bad news is that you do not have the ball past midfield. Good news is that you still have the football. Turnover. Second interception in the first quarter. And they're going to mark the ball back at the 30-yard line. .24 seconds to go here in the first quarter. A wildcat there. That was not Hudorf that took the snap. That was Dion Baker, the backup quarterback, the sophomore. Surprising us there. It's a 3 and a 2, so it's not much of a difference. And Baker, in fact, takes the snap. He's going to get ahead for a gain of 3 on the play. And Baker staying in the game at quarterback. Not sure if this was something that was planned or perhaps coach wanted to give him a chance to platoon a little bit and see what he could do. But nonetheless, Baker looks like he's staying in the game. Clock ticks down to 000. We've played through a quarter of action. Lynwood 7, Shorewood 0. You're watching Hawk TV, HBN. Lynwood Royals football on their own 33-yard line as we get ready for the second quarter of action. Royals 7, Shorewood 0. Again, your only score today so far. An Ethan Pook interception return for a touchdown. Lynwood converted the extra point. Royals get ready to come back out for another possession here. And staying in the game is number 3, Dion Baker, the sophomore quarterback. Second and 7. Baker handing the ball off. Hooker looking for space along the right side, pushing the line a little bit. Grinding forward. It looks like he got right around the 38, 39-yard line. Let's see where they officially mark it. Needs to get to the 40 for a first down. We'll give him a gain of 6 on the play. Hooker now 4 carries for 10 yards on the day. Dion Baker staying in the game. Lynwood's second possession. First one ended in a turnover on downs at the Shorewood 9-yard line. Didn't need a possession for the second time around as Shorewood took care of that by not tackling Mr. Pook after the interception. Power dive play right there by Hooker. Needed one for the first down. He picked up 3, moves the chains. Lynwood first down. And Lynwood all the way to their own 42-yard line now with 11:04 showing on the clock, second quarter. Battle between two Wesco 3A South foes, two teams that know each other fairly well. Head coach Brandon Torrey for Shorewood, Keontae Bankhead for Lynwood. Both have been at their schools for 6 or 7 years now, and Hooker getting tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Looked for a moment like he might have some space to run. That space closed very quickly. They're actually going to say he went down for no gain on the play. Baker stays in, shotgun formation. 2 receivers split out to the left, 1 to the right. The sun slowly setting off to the west here. Baker scrambling, looking for something, runs out to the right, tucks it away, tries to run to no avail. He is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Taken down relatively hard there. And give that tackle to number 5, Tyson Shea, the 5-foot, or actually rather the 6'2", 170-pound defensive back, making a nice tackle. Sure if Tyson's family is listening right now and they started to hear that 5-foot comment. He's a little bit taller than that, 6'2", and definitely overpowered Baker on that play. 3rd and 9 coming up. Clock continues to tick. 9:19 to go, second quarter. Lynwood 7, Shorewood 0. Lynwood looking to pick up a first down. Throw it into the flat. Incomplete, and that was a dangerous pass. Ball was intended for Hurtado. Jackson Chow reading that one well. Looked for a moment there like Chow might even step in front of that one, and that one could have been going the other way. And I believe for the first time today, we're going to see Hurtado come out as a punter. Actually, well, let's see here. They're sending the quarterback out onto the field. Hurtado was a all-Wesco punter last year, so we knew he's got a leg, but it looks like they're possibly keeping their offense on. Shorewood lining up as though they're punting. They've sent 2 guys back. Nope, there we go. Hurtado is, in fact, going to stay in there to punt. Just a lot of the same players on the field, I guess. And Lynwood, with 4th and 9, wants to call a timeout. I could be wrong, but I think that's Lynwood's, officially or unofficially rather, up here. I have that down as being Lynwood's 3rd timeout already. So with 9:09 to go here in the half, Lynwood may have, in fact, just called their last timeout. We cannot even say it enough how good it is to have high school sports back, how good it is to have athletes out on the field, coaches doing what they do, administrators working hard, us folks up here in the broadcast booth doing our thing, and a lot of good vibes all around. Just happy to see everybody out here ready to go. Should let everybody know, too, we've got 3 more weeks of football coming up. We're going to do double headers each and every night here. I was going to say each and every Friday, but there is a Thursday night coming up. Next week, which is March 19th, we're going to have Shorewood versus Edmonds Woodway at 5 o'clock. So you Thunderbird fans, tune back in again for that game. And then Lynwood will play here against Meadowdale right after that at 8 p.m. Following week on March 26th, it's Edmonds Woodway versus Lynwood at 5 p.m. Shorecrest at Meadowdale, against Meadowdale at 8 p.m. I'll give you the final game here in just a moment. Kick goes all the way back to the 21-22 yard line. Lynwood wrapping up right away. Like Chris Calfee making the tackle. They're getting down there really quick, and the Lynwood coaches were even yelling Calfee's name before he made the tackle. They saw him getting down there, and he did not waste any time. Wrapped up the punt returner, and that will be where Shorewood will start here. And then the final week of the year is a Thursday night game. All Wesco teams are playing Thursday, April 1st. And on that night, we will have 2 rival games here involving Edmonds School District teams. Meadowdale versus Edmonds Woodway will play at 5 p.m. Lynwood Mount Lake Terrace at 8 p.m. Shorewood ball. They're going to start this one at their own 21-yard line. Dive play right up the middle, out past the 25-yard line, and tackled right around the 27. Elagio once again getting the carry. Give him again a 6 on the play. Elagio continuing to get the bulk of the work here. 9 carries so far in the first half, unofficially at 42 yards. Stays in the backfield. And up the middle. Ball is fumbled and recovered by Shorewood. Dangerous play there. I could not see who the Lynwood player was, but a Lynwood player targeted that ball from the get-go. You could see it in Jack Donnan being smart enough to see that the ball hit off of one of his players and bounced on the turf, jumped on it. Shorewood's actually going to get a first down out of it. Dodging a situation there that would not have been favorable for Shorewood. Already down by 7. Already allowed Lynwood to score on a pick 6, and they almost gave Lynwood the ball in ideal position there if that ball had been recovered by the Royals. Another pass out into the flat. Out past the 40-yard line and down to the 41. I believe that's Elagio again. That one's actually Solano, number 44 on the catch. I'm going to say that was a gain of 9 on the catch.
9-yard pickup on the play.
And again, unofficially, I have that down as being the first completed, or actually the second completed pass. I guess Shorewood did have the play earlier where Jorkhang's arm was hit, and Donnan was on the spot to catch that one as well. Trying to dive up the middle, looking for that 1 yard they needed for the first down, and I don't think they got it. Elagio getting stopped at the line. Amont Kashul, number 61, in on the tackle, one of the defensive tackles there, a junior. To say that was a gain of 0, it looks like they might have even moved the ball back a little bit. First down is right around the 42-yard line, and the ball sits in between the 40 and the 41. Third down and short for Shorewood. 6:23 to go, first half. Looking for their first points of the year. Another dive right up the middle, first down and a little bit more. Elagio trucks one tackler, finally falls forward around the 47-yard line. Give him a gain of 6 on the play. Number 54, Gavin Kincaid on the tackle. And the T-Birds picking up yet again another first down. Unofficially, we have them down for 5 first downs here in the first half. Been able to move the ball at times, just have nothing to show for it yet. Jorkan takes a snap, hands off. Elagio, and he's stopped in the backfield. Kincaid on the front end, and somebody came around the back and just leveled him. They called a loss of 1 on the play. Lynwood torpedoing that play. They were waiting for that from the get-go, and Solano was in motion. Elagio takes the dive play, and we're going to look at another second down and long, this time 2nd and 11 with 5:25 left in the first half. Solano one more time in motion. Jorkan looking to set up a screen pass. Whoever the intended receiver was, it looks like Elagio not ready for it. Had the play set up rather nicely. They let 3 or 4 Lynwood defenders get through rather intentionally so that they could try to lure them in and then pass the ball right over their heads. And wasn't the worst idea in the world, just not quite the way it was intended to be executed there. Incomplete pass. And 3rd and 11 coming up once again. Unofficially, Jorkhang 1 or 2 completions. for 9 yards, 2 interceptions. Going to put the ball up in the air again one more time. This one over the middle, a little bit high, incomplete. Rory Swanson was the intended receiver, needed to get to the 43-yard line. That was right around the 42. He would have had it, just couldn't quite come down with it. And Shorewood looks to send their punt team back onto the field again. Isaac Van Horn into punt one more time. His second punt of the game. This one a much higher kick. Ball takes a very nice Thunderbird bounce inside the 20 and is going to stop and rest finally at the 16-yard line. 38-yard kick on the play. No return. And Lynwood will send their offense out onto the field one more time. The question is, who do they send out at quarterback? We've seen Julius Hudorf throughout the first quarter. Deion Baker for the first possession of the second, and here comes Hudorf one more time. Fairly common. You'll see that every once in a while when coaches are trying to work in a second quarterback, often giving them a set of downs early second quarter usually. It's something that we've seen over the years. Screen pass right now, bubble screen out to the right. Hudorf completes the pass. Hurtado making the catch. Not much room. We'll give him 1 yard on the play. Isaac Van Horn, who we just mentioned a moment ago as the punter, making the tackle on the defensive side. Sun continues to set here on a beautiful March day. Yes, March and football. You don't usually think of those two going hand in hand. It's a different kind of year, though. Beautiful night, though, for a game as we get a handoff from Hooker up the middle. Gets shoestring tackled right around the 21-yard line. Give him a gain of 4 on the play. And number 22, Jack Deresh coming in on the tackle there, the linebacker. Senior linebacker. We'll call it a 3rd and 5 coming up. As the junior quarterback, Hudorf, heads over to the sideline, picks up the play. Clock continues to run, 3:41 and counting here. First half. The first game of a doubleheader tonight from Edmond Stadium. Hudorf, snap, throws it out to the left. Skips it. That was Tanner Fahey, the intended receiver on the play. Fahey not able to come up with it. It's going to bring up a 4th down. We'll stop the clock with 3:31 to go. And now I believe we will see Hurtado come out for his second punt of the game. And Jackson Chow, number 12, dropping back to return. Get you caught up on a few other things going on around the area here in a little bit as we move forward here, especially right around halftime. Plenty of good football going on tonight. Unfortunately, nobody is able to get out there and watch the games. Over a lot of schools, a lot of school districts doing their best to live stream various sporting events, and football obviously being a prime target for that. As Chow fields the ball around the 42, looks to cut it out to the right, gets by one tackler, make that 2, cuts it right back in towards the middle a little bit, passes midfield, and is finally taken down at the 48-yard line. Looks as though on the play, Gavin Kincaid, number 54, and Christopher Caffey, number 56, bringing him down after a 10-yard return. And Shorewood, for the first time tonight, will take over a possession on the Lynwood side of the field with 3:18 to go. And Shorewood doing a nice job of trying to keep the ball on the ground. They've been running the ball plenty. Passing game has been a little bit more of a challenge. Only 9 yards of passing yards through the air. Santry Jorkane, the quarterback, back under center. Dive play one more time. And we're going to get a new tailback this time around. That's Jack Deresh. We've mentioned his name a couple times on defense. This time he's going to get a carry. Deresh wearing that number 22 uniform. Picks up 2 yards on the carry. Catalagio unofficially for 51 yards so far today on 13 carries. They're going to keep it with Deresh, this time finding some space and finding enough for a first down and then some. Past the marker, almost to the 35-yard line. We'll mark him down at the 36, a 10-yard gain on the play. Shorewood unofficially with 67 yards of rushing offense tonight to go along with 9 yards of passing. And Shorewood has been over on the Lynwood side of the field a couple of times this evening, have not been able to do anything with it once they get here. Clock continues to tick, and again, if you're a running team, it's awfully tough to not watch that clock tick away. It's down to 2:12 and counting. Play clock is down at 4. Try to send a player in motion, get it off with about 2 seconds to spare. This time, Jorgensen holds on to the ball. A bit of an option play there, keeps it. He's able to get forward, gains 3 on the carry. And it looks as though scoreboard showing that Shorewood has 0 timeouts left and Lynwood has 1. Based on what the referee signaled earlier, I thought it was the other way around, so we'll find out here, but Shorewood may or may not have 1 timeout left. Jorgensen floats one out into the left flat there. Ball is caught right around the 20-yard line. Rory Swanson coming down with the catch there. An 11-yard gain on the play. The best passing play we've seen of the night so far. Jorgensen completing 3 different passes to 3 different players. So apparently it was Lynwood that had the timeout. They're going to call it right here. So with 1:25 to go, Lynwood calling the timeout. Certainly not something Lynwood wanted to do, as I think they're content to keep that clock rolling. However, they didn't have the right personnel on the field. Saw one of the players trying to scramble off there at the last second. Wasn't going to be able to do so in time. So rather than take the penalty, Coach Bankhead allows to stop the clock and to get everybody squared away here. So again, 7-0 is our score. Shorewood versus Lynwood. Each team looking for their first victory of the year. Each game that much more important this year. There's only 5 of them. No postseason play, no playoff action. However, when you only play 5 games, those wins and losses jump out at you on the page a little bit more. It's 20% of your schedule there. Like I mentioned earlier, 11 other Wesco games happening tonight. And on paper, the Wesco games look better than last week. Not a good week of football, if we're being honest, last week. There were 11 Wesco action games. And of those 11 games, 7 of those games ended with shutouts. 10 of the 11 games, the team that lost had 7 points or less. And the one game where a player had, or a team that lost had double digits, they lost 38-14. So not a lot of close games last week. Certainly, like I said, the slate looks a little better this week, and we'll get you some of those games or as we go along here. Maybe even try to get you some scores later on. With us being the early start, it might be a little difficult, but there are some games going on right now, or at least one anyway. Because here we go again, 1st and 10. Jorgensen looking to pass, drops back, floats it over the middle. Caught into the end zone. They're going to say touchdown. A little bit of a slow sign there, as I wasn't sure if he was able to stumble across the line before he went down or not. Jack Deneen with a 21-yard catch. Shorewood, for the first time this season, on the board. Sorghang able to stand in the pocket, able to keep his composure, found Deneen, threw it out into the flat, caught the ball around the 5-yard line, and like I said, he kind of took a little bit of a tumble as he crossed the line. I was pretty sure he was across, but I was waiting for the side judge there to give us the signal. Kick is up. This is for the tie. And the kick is good. 1:17 to go here in the half. We got an all-new ball game here, 7-7 tie. You're watching Wesco football on Hawk TV, HPN. Shorewood with a touchdown a moment ago, tying this game up 7-all as we are closing in on the end of the first half of play. Steve Willits along with Angelo Camo and the crew here up in the booth. Edmonds Stadium on a beautiful night. You're just tuning in. The Lynwood Royals getting on the board first during the first quarter. 3:45 left on the clock in the first quarter. Ethan Pook with a 15-yard interception return for a touchdown. And then Shorewood getting the equalizer just a few moments ago. Jack Deneen catching a 21-yard touchdown pass from Santry Jorghang. Extra point was good. And now with 1:13 to go, Lynwood, who is out of timeouts for the half, 1:13 left. We'll see if they play it conservative or try to get the ball down the field, and perhaps will be just content to go into the half with the 7-7 tie. Lynwood does get the ball first to start off the second half, and the ball is fumbled there. Low snap. Baker back in the game. He scrambles, looks to throw, throws it down the field, throws it deep. Incomplete. Dangerous throw there, left it short. Hurtado was the intended receiver. You're not sure if that was necessarily what the play called for, but Baker might have panicked there a little bit as, again, the ball hopped to him on the snap, or he bobbled it anyway, was finally able to come up with it, and by then Shorewood had already penetrated the offense. Baker scrambles out. I thought he was going to run there momentarily, and then he finally decided to fling it down the field. You're going to keep Baker out here one more time. Short side of the field there. They're operating with two receivers out to the left. Hand off to Hooker. Hooker lunges ahead, has a defender on his leg. Still going, though. Still scrambling as he tries to get forward towards the first down marker. I think they're going to mark him down short just about they're going to say first down. So 10-yard gain for Hooker on the play. His longest carry of the night. 8 carries for 28 yards for Hooker on the game now. 45 seconds left. Baker throwing deep, launches this one down the sideline. He's got a man! Monin, 20, 10, 5, down at the 4. So much for being conservative. Dion Baker says, let me throw the rock. Monin runs underneath it, running down the sideline to the right. Almost got into the end zone. Shoestring tackled at the 5, and with 37 seconds left in the half, Lynwood's in business. 64-yard pass. Dion Baker to Sean Monin. Again, Lynwood out of timeouts. 25 seconds and counting as the chains have been moved. Baker looking to run. Gets it into the middle of the field. Are they going to try the field goal here? They've got 15 seconds to go. Certainly they can spike the ball right now. I think that's what they're trying to do here. Clock is ticking. 6 seconds. 5. They better do something quick. 4, 3, 2, 1. This is going to be the final play of the half. Baker gets off the snap. Looking, scrambling. Looks to the left. Floats it into the middle. Touchdown! Sean Monin for the second time this possession with the catch, this time in the end zone. Lynwood, as time expires for the end of the first half, on the board once again, their first offensive touchdown of the season. And they've got a 13-7 lead. Paul Holman back onto the field to attempt the extra point. Low line drive. It is up. It is good. And Lynwood goes into the half with a 14-7 lead. So what the game lacked for offense for the first 23 minutes or so, we more than made up for it in that final minute there. Sean Monin, Dion Baker connecting twice, once for 64 yards, and then on the final play of the half, as time was expiring, it was a one play and done. If you didn't get it, you're going into the half. You didn't leave any time left, and they didn't need to. Sean Monin with the catch there. The extra point is up and good. The Lynwood Royals, who we saw lose here last week, 23-0, now head into the half with a 14-7 lead, looking for their first victory of the year. And oh, by the way, they get possession to start the second half too. So we're going to take a break right now. Once again, Exciting football going on here all night long. The first of 2 games. We've got Mount Lake Terrace versus Cedar Crest coming up 8 p.m. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching. You're watching HBN right here on Hawk TV. Your halftime score once again from Edmond Stadium, Lynwood 14, Shorewood 7. Lynwood Royals taking the go-ahead score onto the board, or putting the go-ahead score onto the board on the final play of the half, a 5-yard pass from Dion Baker, the sophomore, completing it to Sean Monin, a play that was set up 2 plays earlier when Monin and Baker also connected on a 64-yard pass. That answering Shorewood's first score of the game, which came with 1:17 to go on the clock. Lynwood taking over the possession with 77 seconds to go and no timeouts on the board. Kind of assumed perhaps that maybe Lynwood would play it conservative and head on into the half with a 7-7 tie, knowing they were going to get the ball first in the second half. But Dion Baker, all 5'9", 150 pounds of him, decides to let loose, throws it right down the right field side there, right sideline, showing on a fly pattern there, just right where he needed to be. Execution, catch, tackle onto the 5-yard line. Lynwood then punches it in on the final play, and that is where we stand right now. Again, if you're just joining us, Lynwood 14, Shorewood 7. The other score play for Lynwood coming on a pick 6, a defensive touchdown. That with 3:45 to go in the first quarter. That was Ethan Pook who had the interception. Shorewood with their only points coming again with 1:17 to go in the second quarter. That was a Jack Doning touchdown reception from Santry Jorkang. And that's where we stand right now. Again, the Royals with the 7-point lead. They're going to get the opening kickoff here of the second half. So Lynwood again in the home black. There we go. Shorewood back, ready out onto the field and ready to kick off here. Lynwood trying to take that momentum that they grabbed in the last minute of the second quarter. See if they can do something with it here as we head into the third quarter of play. Looking at some things here right now. Randy Rowland in Spokane watching the game as we finally have got our feed up here. Welcome for everybody who's checking out the game here tonight. Sean Monin had a couple of big plays at the end of the second quarter, looking for one in the third as well. Puts his shoulder down, trucks the kicker. Monin almost out to midfield. Big hit there. Give a lot of credit. That wasn't the kicker, actually. That was Solano, number 44, coming over to make the stop, but not before Monin with a beautiful return. Gets the ball all the way out to the 48-yard line. One of the harder hits we've seen all season long right there. So here comes Lynwood, first possession of the second half, looking to build upon that 7-point lead that they got right at the end of the first. Hooker, carry, left side, dragging would-be tackler out of bounds, finally gets tossed out. That was number 34, Elagio, on the tackle, but not before Hooker gets ahead for 7 yards on the play. Ninth carry there for Hooker, 35 yards unofficially. Lynwood once again onto the Shorewood side of the field. The pitch, Hooker one more time. This time he's going right side, looking to get the corner, gets some, and he's still going down the sideline. They will not catch him. Into the night goes Anthony Hooker. Touchdown, Lynwood Royals. Hooker went to turn the corner, and once he got over to the sideline, there was nobody in front of him, sprinting away from the Shorewood defenders. Lynwood with a 20-7 lead, 27 seconds into the second half. Hooker, 10 carries for 80 yards. Holman out for the PAT. Hudorf on for the hold. Low kick over the bar. Count it. Lynwood up 21-7. The Lynwood Royals scoring with no time left at the end of the first half to take the lead. 27 seconds into the second half to extend it. And we've got a two-possession game all of a sudden. It's time for Shorewood to see what they can do, see if they can respond. You're watching HBN. Okay, time to see if the Thunderbirds can respond. With 1:17 to go in the second quarter, they tied the game on a 21-yard pass. Their offense has not seen the ball since. Lynwood back-to-back possessions, end of the first half. Second half opener, and now Shorewood will take the field once again, down by 14 as we await the kickoff. Holman tried to pooch kick it. Shorewood ready this time. They're going to go ahead and fair catch it right around the 34-yard line. Not bad possession there for Shorewood. Not bad field possession anyway. So again, Lynwood getting them in bunches right now. Between Monin's 64-yard catch to set up the second touchdown, and then Hooker running off for the 45-yard touchdown. We've got ourselves a 14-point game right now. Here come the Thunderbirds. First possession for them in the second half. Sending the running back in motion. Screen pass out to the right. Looking to try to set the corner themselves. Cannot do it. Monin waiting for him. I think that might have been Zachary Bergfield also in on the tackle. Elagio making the catch. A gain of only 2. Give him 2 on the play. Temperature starts to drop a little bit. We can feel it up here now. It was nice and warm when we first got here at 5 o'clock. Game clock, or play clock rather, down to 3. Little trickeration there, and Lynwood staying home, not being fooled whatsoever. Faked the run to the left, ended up going over to the right. And Jonathan Lucio, the junior linebacker, staying home, making the tackle in the backfield. A loss of 3 on the play. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 11. .46-yard line is the marker that you need to get to for the first down. We get a false start right there. Just a little bit too eager to get going when the receiver out there in the left flat, lining up in the slot. It's going to make 3rd and 16 for Shorewood here. When it rains, it pours. Shorewood needing to get something going here to try to stay in this game. Lynwood with the points, Lynwood with momentum. Checking out your comments right now online. Eden Hooker says, that's my baby. I'm guessing that might be a relative of Mr. Anthony there after that 45-yard touchdown. Hopefully they're enjoying the game right now. Motion, ball over the middle, pass, intercepted one more time. Out to the 25-yard line. That's Lucio, his second pick of the game. Still going down to the 15. Pushing the line through there. Where are they going to mark it? Let's see there. The linebacker with 2 picks, both over the middle, and we get a flag down, and now we're going to get 2 flags down right around the 35-yard line, and very similar to the last Lucio pick. Flags come after the ball was intercepted, so no doubt we're going to assume that Lynwood's going to keep the possession. Might have been an illegal block of some sort on the return. And that is, in fact, the case. So Lynwood not going to get all that yardage that they just got on the return. However, they do get the possession. 9:32 to go, third quarter. And they are once again back in business on the Shorewood side of the field, looking to extend that 14-point lead that they already have. Ball's going to be spotted at the 35-yard line. Hudorf back in at quarterback, run right up the middle. Hooker once again carrying the line right now. A nice little scrum going on up there. They're finally going to whistle it dead at the 26. Call it an 8-yard gain. Hooker feeling it right now and getting a nice push from his offensive line. The coach is very happy up here. He's going to bring up a 2nd and short. We'll call it 2nd and 2. 27-yard line. Hudorf looking to throw, looked left and looked right, scrambles out to the right, drilled by a couple of players. A flag goes down right at the line of scrimmage. We'll see if this play is going to stand. As Hudorf was right around that first down marker. However, I think this one's going to come back. Let's wait and see. Hudorf grabbing at his face mask a little bit. Not sure if he's having either a issue with the helmet itself or if he got rattled a little bit there. We'll keep an eye on that. We wait for the referees to walk this off.
We have a first down on the play, but we have a dead ball, personal foul against the offense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So what they're going to ultimately say, and I kind of wondered about that, Hudorf was tackled around the 25-yard line on the sideline, back at the line of scrimmage, right around the center. One of the Lynwood offensive linemen and a Shorewood defensive player were tangled up. Flag was thrown as Hudorf was being tackled, or possibly right after the tackle. So what they're going to ultimately say is, we're going to give you the first down. Hudorf was already down after the play, personal foul. Therefore, we're going to move you back 15 yards. So give the Royals a first down. Give Hudorf his 2 yards for rushing. And then move it back 15. So here we go, 1st and 10 from the 40 after all is said and done. 8:26 to go, third quarter. Lynwood up by 14, looking for more. Hudorf, the pitch to Hooker. Hooker looking to go left this time, tries to cut back into the middle. Tackled from behind, however, his momentum moving forward. Shorewood tackler taking him with him. That was Jack Donan on the play. Give Hooker a 1-yard pickup. Going to bring up a 2nd and 9. And we're continuing to monitor things here a little bit on the YouTube channel. Getting a nice little shout out for number 77 there. Caden Antipa. Aaron Gaines. Aaron Gaines, the former Lynwood Royal there. Doing some talking. We like that. We're going to get a timeout here again. 7:38 to go. We get a little bit of silence here for a moment. Again, I mentioned this earlier. Last week, the games were not so great in the Wesco action. 7 of the 11 games ended in shutouts. 10 of the 11 games saw the losing team score 7 points or less. Certainly, we're hoping for some better action around Snohomish County tonight. I know right now, Everett and Lakewood started at 5 o'clock over at Everett Stadium. I have a feeling that game may not be the close one that we're hoping for. Lakewood looking very impressive last week. They defeated Marysville Getchell 69-0. As Lakewood joining West Coast for just 1 year. It's a one-off while we get through the pandemic. Didn't want them to travel as far, keeping them home. So that game's taking place right now. Haven't seen a score yet for that. Got a 6 o'clock start over at Shoreline Stadium. That's Edmonds Woodway and Shorecrest. So they're playing as we speak. Also got a game going on at Goddard Stadium right now. Kamiak and Mariner. The battle for the Mukilteo School District. Bryant Thomas, the Kamiak coach, picking up a huge win over Everett last week for his program, getting the Knights back on track. Here we go, 2nd and 9. Hudorf looking to pass, going deep. He's got a man down the field. Monin once again at the 10, into the end zone. Touchdown, Royals. Sean Monin from 39 yards out. This time it's Julius Hudorf with the pass. Monin having himself a game here now. Over 100 yards receiving. Unofficially, I've got him at 108 and 3 catches. Hudorf watched his buddy Baker throw one earlier. He says, I want one of those myself, and this time he gets it. So for Lynwood, you've got a pick 6. You've got a Baker touchdown pass. You've got a Hudorf touchdown pass. And you have a Hooker running play. Kick is possibly blocked. It went low, so Paul Holman not able to convert on the PAT. However, with 7:29 to go here in the third quarter, Lynwood starting to pull away now, out to the 27-7 lead. Sean Monin, his second touchdown of the game. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We've got plenty of action still to come here on Hawk TV, HPN. Lynwood kicking off one more time. This time Holman drills the ball down the field. Shorewood fielding it cleanly. They're going to return this one past midfield. After that last pooch kick didn't work as well as they had hoped. I think they were hoping for perhaps this one to hit the turf and go down the field a little bit. However, a Shorewood player right there on the spot, grabbing it, and Shorewood now in decent field position here on their other side of the field. They get all the way to the Lynwood 48 on that return. They'll bring their offense back out one more time. Down by 20 right now, 7:22 to go. Getting a pronunciation there. It's Anatipa for number 77. My apologies for Caden. Flag is thrown. Lynwood now getting a little fired up along that sideline. They're sensing that victory number 1 might be in their grasp here. Starting to see a little more energy from the players there on the bench. And for the second time in 3 possessions, Shorewood picking up a flag before they even get a snap off for their first play of a possession. It's going to set them back on their side of the 47-yard line. Oh, we get another whistle here. Coach Keontae Bankhead feeling it too. He's waving the referees to move him back, push him back. You know, our officials who are doing double duty tonight, they're doing both games of the doubleheader. Steve Reed, Brett Whipple, Hunter White, Justin DeVinny, and Keith Smith. We're looking at a 1st and 20 right now. Shorewood returning the kickoff all the way to the Lynwood 48. And now we're going to get yet another whistle. And Shorewood, who's already down by 3 touchdowns and might need one of those timeouts or maybe more later on down the road here, they're already going to call another timeout here with 7:20 left. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Hawk TV HBN. $7:20 left, third quarter. Lynwood with the 27-7 lead. Right here from Edmonds Stadium on a beautiful evening. Shorewood needing some yardage. They get some right up the middle there. Nice carry by number 34. Alagio. It's been the workhorse most of the night there and picks up 9 yards on that play. 57 yards on the ground for Alagio. 57 yards coming on 15 carries. And again, back-to-back penalties, pushing Shorewood all the way back to a 1st and 20 situation. So even after the 9-yard gain, looking at a 2nd and 11. This time they're going to pitch it. Alagio left side. Lynwood right there to stack him up. Lucio, number 51, getting his hands on him. It looked as though number 52, Caden Carroll, might have been on the tackle as well. Miles Golston, number 71, also right in on the play there. Here we go. 3rd and 8 coming up. Antipia, only a freshman. I got somebody right now telling me on YouTube that he's going to be a 4-star recruit eventually. Randy Rowland, obviously a fan. That's high praise right there, but hey, 6 foot, 290-pound defensive tackle. Getting time on both sides of the ball as a freshman. Perhaps, you never know. It's been a while since Lynwood has seen a 4-star caliber player, so we will keep an eye on him. Again, 5:48 to go here. We get yet another timeout. Shorewood with 1 timeout remaining. Again, down by 3 touchdowns. Timeouts should be premiums right now, and yet they're burning through them. Hey, I want to give a shout out to some of our other sports going on right now. Again, finally getting the fall sports season going. It's been 16 months since a lot of these kids have played. Getting football going. We've got tennis, we've got soccer, volleyball, cross-country swimming. Quite a bit going on, and really want to give a shout out to some of the local teams here, and we'll make sure that we mention a few of them by name here in just a moment. Certainly wishing everybody well this year just to get back out onto the field and into the courts. High snap, gets behind the quarterback. Jorkin just falls on it. Probably panicked there a little bit. Might have had a little time to pick it up. Easier said than done when you're up here in the booth and you're not the one with defenders crashing down on you. But nonetheless, huge loss on that play. The ball goes all the way back to the 41-yard line. That's a loss of 14 yards. It just went from 3rd and 7 to 4th and 21. And Sean Monin, who's having himself a game already, 2 touchdown passes, also a 64-yard touchdown that set up one of his touchdowns. Drops back to return. High punt, takes an awful bounce for Shorewood. Is down at the 48-yard line. That is a punt that traveled 11 yards. So as if Shorewood's not having enough trouble right now, they're going to give Lynwood the ball 52 yards away from possibly scoring another touchdown. Already up by 20. Lynwood just has a world of momentum right now, really starting to feel it. And suddenly, Lynwood is putting themselves in a position to where they can really put this game away. Udorf staying in at quarterback. They have trouble with the snap. Hooker picks it up, trying to find somewhere to go, but can't. Shorewood down there, 4, 5, 6 defenders all wrapping him up, and Hooker just doing a nice job to come away with that football. Certainly not going to help his stats, but really a play that is beneficial to the Royals, as that could have been very dangerous. Again, Udorf fumbling the snap. It bounced between the two players. Hooker finally deciding to grab it, and in the process, they're going to lose 9 yards on the play. Hooker still unofficially at 80 yards for the game. 80 yards on 13 carries. Another carry, another Shorewood stop. Hooker trying to get back some of that yardage anyway. Give him a 4-yard gain on the play. All right, I see you, YouTube world. I'm seeing that I'm getting requests for shout-outs. I got to know who the shout-outs are for before I give these shout-outs. So appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, watching a little Friday night light football here in the spring. Watching the Lynwood Royals get things done after struggling last week. They're looking much better. Udorf out into the flat, leaves it a little bit short. Pass sails out of bounds, closer to Jackson Chow, the defender, than it was his receiver, Hurtado. And we got a 4th and 15 coming up. So Hurtado goes from intended receiver to, I would assume, the punter here as he jogs back to the line. First team All-Wesco punter last year. And he's going to be kicking to the aforementioned Chow, who he just ran a pass route on. Hurtado gets off a beautiful kick there. Take a bounce it around the 27. Chow fields it at the 22. Lynwood right there to take him down. Caden Carroll not going to let Chow go anywhere. And Shorewood once again starting in their own territory. They're not able to get anything going on that return. 3:17 to go. 20-point game here. Shorewood unable to get much offense here in the second half thus far. And they'll need a big possession right here if they're going to try to stay in this game. Santre Jorgen bringing his team right back out here. 25-yard line. And once again, Shorewood, we mentioned it earlier, and then we mentioned it again. 1st and 10 situations getting called for either false starts. Oh, they're going to get it. Never mind. Okay, I stand corrected. This time they're going to get Lynwood on the call. Just about to call Shorewood out for continuing to put themselves in 1st and 15 and 1st and 20 situations. This time, however, it's going to go in their favor. So 1st and 5 coming up for Shorewood. And if you tuned in late, defensive first half of play, Lynwood took in a 7-0 lead in the first quarter with 3 minutes to go on an Ethan Pook interception return for a touchdown. And that's where the game stood until the final minute and a half of the first half. Deep pass, left side, incomplete. A couple of different receivers in the vicinity there. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 5. So the game was 7-0 for most of the first half. Finally, with 1:17 to go in the half, Jack Donan, wide receiver for Shorewood, caught a pass from Santre Jorkhang, the quarterback for Shorewood, made it a 7-7 game. Lynwood without any timeouts left, only 87 seconds on the clock. I assumed at that point they were going to get a little conservative. Dion Baker had other ideas. He found Sean Monin running down the sideline for a 64-yard bomb Monin was tackled at the 5-yard line. 2 plays later, as time expired, Baker once again finding Monin for a touchdown. Made it 14-7. Lynwood has since tagged on 2 other touchdowns here in the third quarter, and that's where we stand right now, 27-7. And Shorewood, when the going gets rough, sometimes it just keeps getting rougher, and they're going to lose maybe a yard on that play. One-yard loss on the play. Kincaid getting called out again one more time for another tackle. Getting shout-outs here for Isaac Keene, so we'll give Isaac a little love there. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Hoping that sooner than later we get folks back in the stands here, as we're going to get another called. Of course, again, delay of game, so Shorewood again pushing themselves back further 5 yards. That will bring up 3rd and 11. So again, Governor Inslee calling for us to move to phase 3, saying that we can start having folks at sporting events starting on March 18th. Spoke with Julie Stronzik earlier tonight, the athletic director for the Edmonds School District, and was told that the Wesco athletic directors are going to have a meeting early next week to start talking about possible protocols and whether or not they will bring fans back into the stadiums, perhaps as early as next week. Stay tuned. Incompleted pass on 3rd and 11. That ball might have been tipped. I know a hand went up at the last second. The intended receiver was Lake Mueller, number 18. That's going to bring up a 4th and 11 with 2:03 to go. And Van Horn's going to draw back to punt one more time. Whistles and flags slowing this game down a bit right now. 4th and 11. Let's see what the call is. Illegal substitution against Lynwood. So 4th and 11 becomes 4th and 6. Not sure that's going to change much in terms of what they decide to do here. As the punter will still remain on the field. Ball bounces at the 50. Takes a Shorewood bounce, however, and finally comes to stop at the 39-yard line. A 31-yard punt with no return. That's where Lynwood will take over this next possession. Getting a nice shout out there for the Eric Killian family. Daniel wearing the number 8 tonight for Shorewood. The folks telling him to keep his head up and keep the team keep their head up from Lev. And Shorewood has a minute and 52 to go here in the third quarter, plus an additional 12 to try to get back in this game. Lynwood, however, with the football and the 20-point lead. They bring their offense back out onto the field one more time. Here we go. Royals ball. Handoff going to the big fellow. That's your fullback right there. Number 54, Gavin Kincaid. Usually in there as a lead blocker, getting his first carry of the night. Showing that he's a little bit nimble there, doing a nice job to pick up 6 yards on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 4. Clock continues to run here. 1:23 showing left in the third quarter. Game that Lynwood has blown open here over the last 10.5 minutes or 11 minutes of play going back to the second quarter. Pitch to Hooker, left side, looking for room. Eludes one tackler, gets past the first down marker, gets past midfield, where he's finally brought down at the 49-yard line. A gain of 6 on the play. And unofficially right now, Hooker standing at 90 yards for the night, coming up on that century mark. One more time. We've got the ball in T-Birds territory. We'll keep it right here during the third quarter break as we'll give a few nice shout-outs to some of our other local teams that are playing these days. As, again, multiple sports going on right now as we speak. Hooker up the middle. Grabbed from behind. Finally ganged up on and taken down, or actually pushed back at the 47-yard line. A gain of 2 on the play. Tudo in on the tackle. Clock showing 17 seconds left in play clock, lower than the game clock rather, lower than the play clock right now. So really, Lynwood not in need of taking another snap here. They can just let this clock run out, and that's exactly what they will do. So we are 3/4 of the way through this game. Lynwood with a big push there in the quarter. Taking advantage of a few big plays there. A nice Anthony Hooker run, another Moen touchdown. They're out to the 27-7 lead. And again, multiple sports going on here right now. Lynwood, they're off to a nice start in a few different places. Give a nice shout out here to the volleyball team. And Elise and the crew, they're 3-1 on the season, getting it done. We've seen a few different names popping up on LynwoodToday.com as they've been running the daily sports roundups. I should say we, as I'm the one that puts those roundups together. Serena S., Sarah MacArthur, Hannah Johnson, Charlie Thomas, Isabella Bolin, Megan Badgley, and Maddie Glasser, just a few of the names that we've seen popping up on the score sheets there. Volleyball team, again, 3-1 start to their season, so looking very good right now. Tennis team with a big win yesterday, 6-1 over Mariner. Sam, Johnny, Evan, Alvin, Titus, Andy, Luke, Matthew, Drew, Adam, all contributing in that victory yesterday. So congratulations to those guys. And hey, good to see the swimmers back too, doing virtual swimming right now. So you're not actually going head-to-head with another team in the same pool per se. However, Wesco is putting together websites, or they've got one constructed right now in which teams are able to turn in their times and submit them. And we actually had a virtual match the other day, Meadowdale versus Lynwood. Mina Schreiner winning the 50 free in the swimming competition with a time of 27:47. Faith Murray also winning the 100 backstroke. Congratulations to those two. Here we go, fourth quarter underway, out into the flat, over the head of Hooker. Incomplete. We'll bring up a 3rd and 9. Cross Country hosted their first meet of the year on Wednesday, taking on Mariner. Rachel Elliott winning on the girls' side. Daxton Castaneda beating out teammate Matthew Mason by just a few seconds for the boys, so congratulations to them. Shorewood also doing some nice things too, we should add, as we're going to get another whistle here. Referee timeout. Matter of fact, we broadcasted a Shorewood Mount Lake Terrace soccer game right here on Tuesday night. Dan Ferris's team, 3-1 start to their season with only 3 seniors. Another pass into the flat, incomplete. Hurtado perhaps looked to run before he caught the ball. Took his eyes off it for just one moment. That brings up a 4th and 9. So Shorewood team, only 3 seniors. The Monalili sisters, the twins, Caitlin and Morgan, doing some big things. We saw Heather Campbell get the clean sheet the other night. Goals from Goet, Pate, Loden. So a nice performance from a freshman named Severn. Looking at the Shorewood football roster, they put their cheerleaders on their roster too, and I noticed a handful of the soccer players also appearing on there. So good to see them doing a little double duty during the season and supporting their team. And oh, by the way, the volleyball team, coached by Molly Donahue, as the punt is up in the air, we're going to get a fair catch, fielded at the 22-yard line. Shorewood volleyball team, I got to give them a shout out. 3-1 to start their season. It's a team that went 3-12 last year. 3 wins through 13 matches. Already equaled that in 4 matches. So congratulations to them. And the cross-country team also defeated Shorecrest last week. Kia, I hope I'm saying this name right. Kia Mamiya was the top Shorewood girls finisher. Rowan Castleman, top Shorewood boys finisher, and that took place over at Cedar Crest. So a lot going on right now. We certainly wish everybody all the best as they continue on with their fall sports seasons here in the late winter. Running play, left side. Finally being brought down. That's Elagio with one more tackle, or one more carry, rather. Why not, right? Continues to carry the mail here for the Thunderbirds. Keeps that clock rolling, however. Lynwood likes that. So Elagio now unofficially with 60 yards on the night. Him at 60 yards on 16 carries, rather. Another run, another stuffing there by Lynwood, not letting them go anywhere on that play. Elagio carrying it again. This time he's tackled. Anthony Hooker making a tackle there. Hooker getting it done on the ground, also getting it done on the defensive side of things. Actually, I think they might have spoken a little too soon on that one. I went with the PA announcer Paul Keene on that one. I think that might have been Jaquan Harris, number 32, on that tackle, the junior. He's lined up on that left end right now. Big play there. 3rd and 10 coming up. Shorewood down to 10:25 to go, trailing by 20. Looking to pass this one deep. Double covered, incomplete. Everybody seemed to be a little confused on that play as pass. It looks like, I can't see the receiver's number. We'll wait for him to turn around here. Defended by number 10, Hurtado, as well as Blake Norman, number 14. Ball kind of went straight up in the air. There were 3 guys in the vicinity. 2 were Lynwood, 1 was Shorewood. Nobody really seemed to know where the football was. Nobody was really turning around waiting for it. Little incidental contact there at the end. The referees let that go, as well they probably should. And it's going to stop the clock with 10:17 to go as Lynwood once again back to receive the punt. Sean Monin standing at his own 47-yard line awaiting the kick. Nice kick there too. Returnable. Moen at the 45. Runs it out to the left. Speeds up at the 40. He cuts it back to the right. He's got an opening. Could this be touchdown number 3 of the night? To the 10, the 5, into the end zone. Wait! The referee says he stepped out. Hold off on that touchdown. Sean Monin had visions of a 3rd touchdown this evening. Took that ball in his own 45-yard line, and 52 yards later, they say he stepped out at the 3-yard line. My goodness, that was close. Earlier, we saw Monin on a 64-yard catch in which he was tackled at the 5. Consequently, the team rewarded him a few minutes later, or 2 plays later, with a touchdown reception. Perhaps they'll do it again. Let's see what Bankhead dials up here as Hudorf comes back out onto the field one more time. First down, goal to go, 10:02 to go here, 4th quarter. Lynwood already up by 20. Monin's lined up out to the left. Do you reward him? Let's see what they do. Flags fly. Into the end zone goes the running back. We're going to hold off here, though. Those flags were coming in pretty quick. There were 2 of them, one on each side of the field. Gavin Kincaid with the carry into the end zone. I don't think this one's going to stand. Let's see what happens here. Illegal formation. That one's going to come back, and we're going to move it back 5 yards. Try it all over again. Anna Golston giving a nice shout out to Miles, making some holes there. Really, that Lynwood offense, we got to give the O-line some credit there. We mentioned their names earlier, and it seems as though, this is often the case in football, a lot of times the O-line only gets mentioned when something goes wrong, right? It's holding calls, jumping off sides, but certainly, yeah, tonight, Miles doing a nice job at the left tackle. Isaac Hernandez playing left tackle. David Livingston at the center. We've already mentioned Big Caden, number 77, doing his thing. Christopher Caffey, also number 56, playing well tonight. Seen a few others get in there right now. Jamie McDougall, of course, he's out there right now playing right tackle, doing a fantastic job. We're going to get a pitch to Hooker. Eludes one tackler, gets a little bit of room to run, still going into the end zone. Touchdown, Royals. Hooker with his 2nd touchdown of the night. Lynwood starting to put the exclamation mark on this one. 33-7 is our score. And Lynwood with 9:48 to go, pulling away. Looking like they're getting ready to celebrate win number 1 on the year. Kick is good. We've got a 34-7 game there. Hooker from about 8 yards out on that one. Initially looked like he might be stopped in the backfield, right around the 10-yard line. Shorewood made contact. Hooker breaking out away from one tackler. Got a little momentum going and actually had his jersey grabbed right around the 3-yard line. Kind of pulled away from the would-be tackler there and lunged into the end zone. Got in there. Lynwood now with 27 unanswered points here. And right now it just looks like all we need to do is wait 9 minutes and 48 seconds more. And Lynwood can start celebrating. Eden Hooker. Eden liking that touchdown. Seeing the "that's my baby" in the comments there. Anthony Eden good here tonight at Edmond Stadium. 2 touchdowns for him. And unofficially right now, I've got him right at 100 yards even. He's at the century mark right now. Don't forget, second game coming up, 8 o'clock tonight, Mount Lake Terrace versus Cedar Crest. Two teams that are AA or 2A Wesco schools, or were 2A Wesco schools last year, both who competed in the Northwest Conference for football only. Mount Lake Terrace moving back up to 3A again this year, so they're full-fledged Wesco 3A now. Cedar Crest also a Wesco school. Man takes the kickoff there. That was number 51, Hunter Thibodeau. The sophomore offensive lineman / linebacker getting a rare chance to carry the rock a little bit there. T-Birds ball, their own 39-yard line, 9:43 to go here. Get a penalty flag thrown there. Lynwood yelling both up here in the booth as well as on the field, trying to point out to the officials that Shorewood broke the huddle with 12 players. Trying to tell the officials right now that one of the players ran off. And that's the thing right now about not having any fans. Everything that happens on that field right now, we can hear up here. We've got the window open, so we can hear them. We can hear the interactions with officials, with coaches, with players. Things that you don't normally get during normal circumstances. Now, granted, we'd much rather go back to the those days and see everybody here, but it is one luxury to have, I guess, right now. We're going to get a 2-yard gain there on the play. It looks as though we've got a new quarterback in the game for Shorewood. Again, we've mentioned this earlier tonight. A little bit tough up here to tell. We're, again, when keeping the booth to a minimum tonight just because of the fact that we're still dealing with a pandemic. And Shorewood with these white shirts and white numbers, not always the easiest things to read. Ball gets away from the quarterback, picks it up at the 30, scrambles back, continues to run, finally throws it out into the flat, completes it at the 40-yard line, and finally tackled down at the 43. We'll find out who the receiver was there. Chow's going to be the one that comes up with the catch. Pook making the tackle, number 4. I haven't called his name out since that interception earlier for the touchdown. That's Andrew Gibhart, number 13, a freshman playing quarterback right now. Gibhart showing a lot of nice composure right there to complete that one. They end up picking up 4 yards on the play, a play that should have been the 15-yard loss. Lynwood, they want to take a quick timeout again. 8:18 to go. They're up by 27. Trying to hold on here. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Hawk TV on HBN. 3rd and 6 coming up for Shorewood. Let's get you caught up on the remaining games on the schedule for both of these teams. Again, 5-game schedule, so only 3 games remaining after tonight. Each team playing each of the next 2 Fridays, followed by a Thursday, April 1st game, which will conclude the season. Lynwood right back here at Edmond Stadium next Friday night against Meadowdale High School. Again, that we'll be broadcasting right here on HBN. The following Friday night on March 26th, they're going to be taking on Edmonds Woodway at 5 p.m. Down goes the quarterback. Gavin Kincaid doing a little bit of everything tonight. He's blocked. He's run the football, playing some stout defense, and now he gets a sack on the freshman quarterback as Andrew Gerbhardt nowhere to go on that play. It's going to bring up a 4th and, we'll call it a 4th and 17 coming up. That will bring on a punting situation. 7:44 to go. So again, Lynwood here the next 3 weeks. They will end their season here with 3 games at Edmond Stadium, all against Edmond School District opponents. Nice kick and a bounce at the 41-yard line. Monin lets this one go. Takes a Thunderbird roll and will go down to the 31. Call it a 37-yard kick. So Lynwood, Meadowdale next week. That's an 8 o'clock start time. 5 o'clock the week after against Edmonds Woodway. Both of those games right here on HBN. And then the following Thursday, April 1st, Lynwood concludes their season with their rival, Mount Lake Terrace. The Hawks coming in to play Lynwood 8 p.m. start time on Thursday, April 1st. Shorewood, they're going to be back here next week playing Edmonds Woodway. That's a 5 p.m. start time. And then their final 2 games of the season, they're back over at Shoreline Stadium, taking on Mount Lake Terrace on Friday, March 26th, 6 p.m. start time, rather. And then the big Rotary Cup coming up on April 1st, Shorewood Shorecrest, 6 p.m. start time, Shoreline Stadium. We're hoping for another good game here coming up later on tonight. Mount Lake Terrace versus Cedar Crest. Last time those 2 teams did battle, it was on Mount Lake Terrace's homecoming night, 2019. A game won by Shorecrest, 14-13. The difference in that game was a missed extra point. Game that came right down to the end. So we're hoping for another close thriller of a game coming up here later on this evening as we've got an injury on the field. And it looks as though they might be working on a cramp of some sort. It's the hope anyway. Johnny Utah, we appreciate the shout out there on YouTube. Doing our best to bring you guys action here from Edmond Stadium throughout the football season under some difficult circumstances. Happy to see everybody get up and off the field there as we've got 7:08 to go here. The Lynwood Royals, a team that, when you look at on paper, when you look at the score, they lost to Shorecrest 23-0 last week. Game was much closer than that, however. Went into the final 8 minutes of the game as a 3-0 scoreboard. Fortunately, things got a little out of hand there. 3 touchdowns in the final few minutes, and Shorecrest pulling away for the 23-0 score. But nonetheless, a decent showing for Lynwood last week. Certainly on the defensive side of things, they were bending but not breaking all night. Just needed to get their offense going, and I think they found a little bit here tonight. Found it in the form of an offensive line who's been pushing the defense around. They've found it in the form of Anthony Hooker, running strong all evening. Finding it in the form of 2 different quarterbacks, Hudorf and Baker, both showing glimpses of what's to come here. Both guys back next year, by the way. One's a junior. Hudorf's a junior. Baker's a sophomore. Shane Monin certainly stepping up, having himself a big game. And we're now down under 6 minutes to go. 3rd and 1 coming up. A little bit of a confusion play there. Hooker takes the snap behind the line, still fights his way to try to get back to that line of scrimmage. Say what, that's the toughest 1-yard loss you're going to see all season long. There is a little bit of confusion. I think Hudorf went to pitch one way, Hooker went the other. Finally, Hudorf pitched to Hooker at the last second there, but by then, Shorewood had already broken through the line, and Hooker nowhere to go, but still managed to fight his way back to kept it to only a 1-yard loss on the play. So we got a 4th down, and we'll call it a short 2 coming up. They've got to get right around that 42-yard line marker. Oh, maybe it's even a long 1. Lynwood trying to get those chains moving, trying to keep themselves out on the field, and they do so. And here he comes once again, Anthony Hooker, right up the middle. Needed 1. Why get 1 when you can get, let's give him 16 on the play. That'll do it.
17 yards. Good enough. Royal.
Again, these are very unofficial. When I'm doing play-by-play and stats at the same time, I don't trust my own numbers here. I've got Hooker down for around 122 right now. So we'll see if where it ends up here later on tonight. I'm sure the coaches will have something much different, but nonetheless, Anthony Hooker having himself a very nice game, getting most of those yards here in the second half, 45 of which came on that touchdown on their opening drive there in the third quarter. Udorf looking to throw this time. Gets away from one tackler, finally gets it off. Monin incomplete. Also stops the clock on the play, makes it a 2nd and 10. I want to thank our crew that's working at Jamie Stockham in here, flipping the boards for us here, going back and forth between the cameras, working on the HBN staff. Angelo Camo. Doing a fantastic job. He says, no, I just gave you guys somebody to blame, but I think you're doing awesome. So thank you very much. Student run program here from LA Terrace High School. Here comes another run from Hooker, left side, all the way into the side of the 30. Give him 16 yards on that play. Gets all the way down to the 27-yard line. And Angelo Camo, a teacher at LA Terrace High School, district employee, putting all this together, running the show. We've got parents on the cameras right now, and we'll get their names here in a few moments here as Como has stepped out for a few minutes. But well, I know we can give one shout out here because I know that Jamie McDougall's mom is on one of our cameras. She did the game last week as well. First and 10, 29-yard line, looking for the end zone. Tanner Fahey, touchdown Royals! Look who's back. Tanner Fahey, all Wesco last year, coming off the knee injury, gets himself into the end zone at 29 yards out. And Lynwood really putting the exclamation mark on this game now. 40-7 score. Good to see number 8 back and doing his thing. Lynwood's 4th touchdown of the second half. And don't forget, they also closed out the first half with a touchdown as time expired. Do not think we saw this kind of an onslaught coming here. And I'm being told, I was just texted a score from superfan John, who watches a lot of our games here. John's let me know that at halftime, the score from Shoreline Stadium, Edmonds Woodway leading Shorecrest 3-0. Defensive struggle going on there. Also got a text a few minutes ago that Snohomish took a 3-0 lead on Glacier Peak. That game early over at Snohomish Veterans Memorial Stadium. The Dick Armstrong Bowl is what they call that. Battle for Snohomish High School, Snohomish School District, I should say. Believe it or not, Glacier Peak opening up, I believe it was, 9-10 years ago now? Glacier Peak has never lost to Snohomish. Panthers looking to change that tonight. And again, we'll try to maybe get some other scores here before we go off. Trying to do a handful of things all at the same time, including keeping some stats here. So always a little bit of a challenge here. The Stilley Cup is underway. That's always a big one. Stanwood and Arlington, 2 rival schools. big rival schools, I should mention. It's a game that Stanwood hasn't won, I think, in 10 or 11 years now, and might have a fairly decent shot to do it. They got a big 50-7 win over Jackson last week. Sophomore quarterback Wyatt Custer threw 5 touchdown passes in that game. I think Stanwood had 2 safeties, blocked a punt. And Arlington, on the other side of the coin, lost their starting quarterback, Trent Novak. He was a all-Wesco quarterback last year, broke his collarbone second quarter of that game, so he's out. So that could be an interesting game tonight. A lot of rival games going on, I've noticed. The Berry Bowl also being played tonight. It's Marysville-Pilchuck and Marysville-Getchell. Another one-sided affair for the most part. Pilchuck has never lost to Getchell since Getchell opened up, was it 7 or 8 years ago now? So really, other than South Snohomish and the shoreline areas here, everybody else kind of looking at their main rivals as opponents tonight for the most part. We already mentioned the Mukilteo School District. Right up the middle, here goes a run here. Shorewood looking to bust it outside. Flag down at the 18-yard line, so we'll see if this one stands. It's number 22 on the carry. Jack DeReish getting the ball. I think his second carry of the night now. Again, sharp-looking uniforms, white on white. Just a play-by-play announcer's nightmare. Though I can tell you that, especially during a pandemic when we're lacking spotters and color commentators and some of those other things, every once in a while when I try to get out on the binoculars there, I can almost see the numbers. But even then, it's a little bit tough at times. But that one is number 22 there. Makes for an interesting night anyway. That run's going to stand, by the way. The call was waved off there. Right up the middle. Looks like that might be Laresh one more time. It is. He's had a few nice runs tonight. He's only had 4 carries unofficially here. Got him down for 4 carries for 28 yards. Lynwood getting a few other players into the game right now. Hamont Kushel, number 61, just checked back in. I see number 30 out there getting some time. Bailey Evans, junior linebacker. Try to call some names we haven't seen yet tonight. One more run right up the middle there. Laresh with another carry, his 3rd straight carry. Trent Whitehead in on the tackle there, getting his name called. Anton Giatron Altamira also making the play there from his defensive end position. Jordan Murata. Looks like he's in the game right now, back there at safety. Laresh one more time. Altamira, one more tackle there. Second time he's been on a tackle in as many plays. Jaron Wilson also out there right now. The freshman getting a little playing time. Everybody enjoying this one at this point. 41-7, Lynwood out in front. And we're going to get a keeper this time. Going down very quickly there. Running a little bit of an option, and Hard decided, I don't really need this. I'm just going to go ahead and slide right in here and get down. It looks like a big-time quarterback there. That's what you do. You make sure you live to see another play, right? And actually, the more we're looking at that now, let's see here. Player in motion there. Yep, that was in fact Gebhardt. Wasn't sure if we had the right player there. Another first down. They're getting spun down, and the ball finally comes out. Nice defensive play. Didn't see who that was. It's DeResh with another carry. And again, he's done a nice job the few carries he's had tonight. That time he just needed to hold on to the ball a little bit tighter. Jaquan Harris getting his name called out there. Junior defensive end. Kieran McDougall also in right now. Sophomore, number 13. Another run, this time out to the left, pushed out of bounds at the 47. Some nice contact there. Altamira getting in on another tackle. We get a very late flag there. Not sure if that's going to be called on one of the players or perhaps even the coaching staff. That was right along the sideline. So Shorewood now looking at 1:19 left in the game. Trying to get the score a little more respectable. Trying to get into double digits here as Lynwood again just putting it on them in the second half there. Huddling one more time as we're still seeing some of these players get in for the first few possessions of the game. Always good to get some action here, even if it's a 34-point game. Anytime you can step out onto that field on a Friday night as a young player, it's always special. So Linda McDougall, one of our camera folks tonight. Trying to work our way through a spreadsheet. We're going to get that other named out there in just a moment here. Another run, another tackle, another Altamira moment there. Number 43, making himself known here in the last few minutes. Teresh with another carry, picked up a few yards. Now down under a minute to go again. Lynwood will improve their record to 1-1 on the year. Shorewood about to drop to 0-2. Looking at some of the comments here. A nice little shout out for Tanner Fahey, no doubt. Getting in the end zone. Ball into the end zone. Touchdown, Thunderbirds. The freshman Gebhardt throwing his first touchdown pass. See if we can get a name here from Paul Keene, our public address announcer. Tyson Shea getting the touchdown, number 5. Mentioned him earlier in the first quarter. 6'2", 170-pound junior wide receiver. Nicely done, Mr. Shea. Making the score there a little bit more respectable. And with 38 seconds to go, PAT is up. The PAT is good, and we've got a 41-14 game. Toreno Golston is our other camera worker tonight. I believe that's Miles Goldston's father. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. So appreciate him as well as Linda McDougall for helping us on cameras tonight. You think it's easy? It's not. We've tried it before. So again, we appreciate this. Again, we are a student-run program here at Mount Lake Terrace High School. Got our family members helping us in terms of players' families to volunteer to run those cameras for us. Great way for them to get into a ball game otherwise when they'd be outside the gate or watching from home. So I guess there's a trade-off there, right? And certainly thank them for everything they're doing. Got somebody online right now calling for Jordan Moreta to go into the game. Junior quarterback, number 12. Wondering if that might be a family member or a friend, so we'll see what happens. 38 seconds left, so I would think that we might be looking at one more snap after the kickoff, and then we'll be out of here. Again, we're about 35 minutes away from our second game of the night. Mount Lake Terrace, the Hawks, taking on the Red Wolves of Cedar Crest. Meadowdale Mavericks, getting a picture here online right now. They are taking on Archbishop Murphy over at Terry Ennis Stadium. A rare opportunity for a Wesco school to go over to Archbishop Murphy and play. Oh, here's a halftime score. Kamiak ahead of Mariner 21-8. That game over at Frank Goddard Stadium on the campus of Mariner High School. Again, 2 Muckle Teal School District schools that share a stadium, so they're both essentially playing at their home stadium tonight. No doubt we'll be trying to get you some scores throughout the 8 p.m. game tonight as well. Take the snap, take a knee, and get on out of here. That's all we're going to see here tonight as The clock continues to tick. They do not need to snap it again. Game clock is down below the play clock. The Lynwood Royals coming away and looking very impressive tonight, getting on the board for the first time this year and getting the victory, and doing so with a 41-14 defeat of Shorewood High School. Again, a big night for a handful of players. Obviously, the skill players getting a lot of the attention because they're the ones that have the stats, obviously. Sean Monin with 2 touchdowns, almost had a third one on that punt return. We saw Anthony Hooker with 2 touchdowns tonight. Tanner Fahey, great to see him get back into the end zone and great to see him get back out there. And, of course, Ethan Pook, defensive pick 6 in that first quarter to really get things going. Hudorf, touchdown pass. Baker, touchdown pass. And, oh, by the way, how about Jonathan Lucio? 2 interceptions from that middle linebacker position. Played both of those plays very well, so give a lot of credit to him and some of the other guys too. Too many to name, really. A lot of players getting it done tonight for the Lynwood Royals. And as we mentioned earlier, Lynwood with 3 games left in the season. As we'll get ready to sign out here in just a moment. We look at the schedule one more time. Lynwood playing Meadowdale next week, Edmonds Woodway the following week, and Mount Lake Terrace. So their last 3 games, all against Edmonds School District rivals. And the Royals showing that they're going to be a team that needs to be reckoned with. It's not going to be an easy victory for any of those teams. They're going to put up a fight. If you're not careful, they might put up 41 on you. So the Royals ahead again, 41-14 over Shorewood tonight. We thank everybody for helping here at HBN. We thank all of you for watching. We thank everybody here at the stadium who's helping us. And we should mention the Lynwood Royals cheerleaders also coming out to support their team. So for everybody involved with the production, we thank you all for watching. Take a little break. Come back at 8 o'clock. We'll do this all over again. Mount Lake Terrace versus Cedar Crest coming up next. You're watching Hawk TV on HBN.